Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we're diving headfirst into the dizzying, often contradictory story of modern Saudi Arabia. It's a kingdom in the middle of a full-blown revolution, but one that's happening from the top down, all driven by one of the most powerful and controversial figures on the planet.
And hey, before we really get into it, if you find this breakdown valuable, taking a second to subscribe and share it, well, it really helps us make more explainers, just like this one. We appreciate it.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to unpack the huge paradox at the heart of Saudi Arabia today, get to know the man pulling all the strings, check out his wild futuristic vision, and then we're going to look at the staggering human cost before we weigh the odds of this whole massive gamble.
Okay, so to really get what's happening in Saudi Arabia, you have to wrap your head around a massive contradiction. I mean, you got to hold two completely opposite ideas in your mind at the very same time.
Think about it like this. On one side, you've got this incredible transformation. Women driving, tourists flocking to desert raves, the country gunning for the World Cup. But on the other side, a brutal, systematic wave of repression. Critics are getting locked up for a single tweet, citizens are living under constant surveillance, and any whisper of dissent is just crushed. You could say it's a police state with a really, really good PR team.
So, how in the world did this happen? How did one guy, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, you probably know him as MBS, get such absolute, total control over an entire kingdom?
Well, his rise was just incredibly fast and absolutely ruthless. I mean, when his dad became king back in 2015, MBS was basically a nobody, a junior prince off the radar. But then he's made defense minister, he launches a war in Yemen to build his reputation, and then, the big move in 2017, he completely shoves aside his older, more experienced cousin to become the one and only heir to the throne. Now, what makes MBS so different is key. See, unlike most of the royals who go study in London or the US, he was educated entirely inside Saudi Arabia. That gave him this deep, almost intuitive understanding of the kingdom's real power centers. Sources call him an outlier, someone who grew up with a kind of inferiority complex, which just poured fuel on his ambition. And this is crucial. He's a student of Islamic law, a tool he later masterfully used to dismantle the old guard.
So, with all that power locked down, MBS rolls out a plan so huge, so audacious, it's designed to completely remake the entire country. Vision 2030.
And you have to understand, this is not just some flashy slogan. For the Saudi leadership, this is survival. It's a now or never project. They know that the oil money that built the whole country isn't going to last forever. If the kingdom wants to have a future, it has to build a modern, diverse, post-oil economy. But to do any of that, first, MBS had to break the grip of the super conservative religious establishment that controlled pretty much every aspect of daily life for decades. And he did it with, surgical precision. First, his dad took away the religious police's power to arrest people. Huge. Then MBS used his own religious training to literally out-argue the old clerics. And finally, he just rewrote the country's founding myth to push their strict interpretation of Islam, Wahhabism, to the sidelines.
And the results? I mean, they are wild. All of a sudden, you've got massive music festivals in ancient desert canyons that were once considered cursed. Women are pouring into the workforce. And the kingdom is throwing billions at hosting global sporting events. Everything from the Asian Winter Games on fake snow to the 2034 FIFA World Cup. It is all about the rebrand.
But this glittering new image, the one you see in all those slick promo videos, it hides a much, much darker reality. This progress is being paid for at a staggering human cost. Just take the case of Monahil al-Otaibi. She was a fitness blogger, an activist, who actually believed in the reforms MBS was promising. She campaigned online for women's rights, posted pictures of herself without her abaya, and for that she was sentenced to 11 years in prison. The very freedoms the regime is selling to the world are the same ones it uses to jail its own people.
This quote just lays it all bare. When a woman named Faz al-Otaibi was fined for dancing at a public music festival, the police officer told her straight up, "This party isn't for you, it's for visitors. It's a performance. The freedoms are for the international guests, not an actual right for Saudis themselves."
And make no mistake, this crackdown wasn't just on activists. Oh no. In 2017, MBS locked up hundreds of the country's richest, most powerful princes and billionaires in the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, turning the fanciest hotel you can imagine into the world's most luxurious prison. He called it an anti-corruption drive, but he forced him to sign over an estimated $107 billion, cementing his control over both the politics and the money of the kingdom in one single move.
And that brutality, it extends to his futuristic dream projects. To clear the land for his sci-fi megacity NEOM, a former intelligence officer said the orders they got were simple and just chilling. If members of the local Al-Huwaidat tribe refused to leave their homes, you can kill him. One man was killed, others were sentenced to death. As one person put it, this city will be built on Saudi blood.
So, all of this, the raves and the repression, the vision and the violence, it all brings us to the final trillion-dollar question. Can this model, this idea of radical change, built on a foundation of absolute authoritarianism, can it actually work in the long run?
And you know, when you actually look at the promises versus what's really happening, the cracks start to show. The whole point was to build a post-oil economy, right? But today, the country is actually more dependent on oil money than ever before. The futuristic city, NEOM, was supposed to be bankrolled by $500 billion in foreign investment. So far, it's gotten zero. The entire plan depends on the region being stable. But, as we've seen, the Middle East can explode at any moment.
And this final quote, it says it all. For Mohammed bin Salman, the ambition has no ceiling. Someone asked him what comes after Vision 2030, and he just said, Vision 2040. This isn't a project with a finish line. It's a constant, never-ending reinvention of the kingdom in his own image. But it's a terrifyingly high-wire act, trying to balance a young generation that might start demanding real rights with an economy that's still so fragile.
So what do you think? Is this the birth of a new modern powerhouse in the Middle East, or is it just a glittering mirage that's doomed to collapse? We really want to know what you think down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll